Please let me go first on this. Please.
You go first on all
Okay,
of them.
I just had to make sure. Please.
No.
All right, we're recording.
I want you to go
Yes.
first.
We're recording.
Welcome to the TCAT 10-minute take. It is I, your host, Sheree L. Stewart, and with me, as always, is my intrepid co-host, Don, the U-Man, Adidas Chambers. And today, the movie that we're talking about in this lovely TCAT podcast is Malignant. Dun, dun, dun. But before we get started, make sure you click that like button and you click the subscribe to get all the 10-minute takes as soon as they drop. But as always, Mr. Chambers will go first, and this I did see, so I will go second. Yeah.
Malignant. God.
Are you just going to be speechless for 10 minutes?
James Wan. I love him in the Fast and Furious. Why? Because it's over the top. It's crazy. It basically makes no sense, but he leans into that shit and he makes it happen. And I'm like, great. Watch Malignant. My wife suggested, let's watch this. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. She says it's a horror flick. I'm like, okay, maybe it's... Like the first quarter, I was like, what's going on here? And then the middle part, I was laughing at how terrible and ridiculous this is. And then at the end part, oh, I was done. Oh, I was just like, you gotta be shitting me. Okay. I first see the house and I'm like, and the thing is, I don't know if they said where it was set, but I'm like, okay, this is in LA, California, because it had the address number on the curb there, like we do here. And we have this Amityville horror looking type of house. No, sorry, psycho house. And I'm like, that house does not look like it fits in with that neighborhood in any way, shape, or form. It's dark as hell in there. There's just two people living in there. Of course, one of them is, I love to beat my wife, psycho boyfriend. Okay. And then you have Miss Mousy, I don't say nothing, wife. And I cannot even get to that ridiculous relationship. And then, and the thing is in her head, and it's like, what? Like, okay, spoiler alert for those. It's.
Are you gonna give it away? The twist?
Yeah. Am I really giving away this twist? It's the main girl. Now there's no well-known actors in this movie, but the main girl is what's her name? Is it Annabelle Wallace? I think that's the name. That plays the main character of Madison.
Yeah.
So she was born and had like a twin brother, but they were like fused, and he was like growing out of her back, and he was some weird, like half a face coming out of the back of her head, and what the mom dumped him off somewhere, and then whatever this psycho place was, they were like cut the body off of her back, but like pushed his face into her head. I'm like, wait, the skull doesn't have like extra space back here. There's just room for the brain. So they pushed his face in the back of her head, sealed it up, and let her go off into the world.
They were like, science.
It's so like weird. I like to beat my wife boyfriend, pushes her in the wall. She whacks her head, and that wakes him up for him to come push himself out of her skull, take over her. Listen.
Where would you put it on our scale?
Wait. I'm not done. Listen. This movie and then the police that got involved, their police station is like this huge hall with
I mean,
it was
what?
it was like, is this a ballroom or something that's a police station? I was like, what is and and then there's two cops. You had the sassy black woman cop, and then you had the shy guy
Who
cop.
don't believe? Who don't believe?
Yeah, then you had the shy guy cop who was then falling for the girl's sister. It was all some nonsense. And the twist of, oh, the bad guy in the, what was the name of the brother again?
Gideon.
No,
No,
uh,
no, it was Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Was it? Was
It's like,
that
yeah,
it? Yeah.
Gabriel and Madison. Ooh, they're in the same body, and he just takes over the back part, and the arms are like twisted the other way.
All right, that's enough. Where would you put it on our scale?
Oh, this, I don't even have. I don't even. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say don't have. I don't even watch regular TV, but I'd wait for it to come on Channel 7, and then watch it with the commercials. Cause no, just no. It
Okay,
was
some of these things that you're
ridiculous.
saying are that are bugs. I feel are features.
Come on now. Come on now.
Okay. Okay, I didn't hate it. Okay, here's the thing. I like James Wan a lot. He's done The Conjuring and Insidious and like The Nun, like he produced that one. He didn't direct it. And then those are his scary horror movies. Scary. I mean, some of them are scarier than others. Dead Silence, I think, was like his first one, and that one was super ridiculous, but still scarier than this. Then you have the Fast and the Furious, which are nonsense, like crazy comedy. It's all about the family.
It's great nonsense. Yes.
Great nonsense. I feel like this was when you have a kid who's like a genius, and then they get bored, and then they start just doing stuff that they think is funny. Like, I feel like this is almost like a comedy for him. Like, he was making a Scooby-Doo comedy, and he was laughing his ass off the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this was a horror comedy in the vein of, like, a Sam Raimi kind of
let
movie.
me ask you.
More than just a straight horror movie.
Was there any horror in this?
No, I didn't think. I mean, but maybe some body horror. But it had, like, very crazy over-the-top sets and setups. Like, the house was amazing, and I was like, after that thing was coming after her in the house, I wouldn't have been so anxious to get back in that house. Like, she was like way too ready to be locked up in that crazy scary house. It's like Annabelle. Like, Annabelle is a doll that no kid is going to want to play with. The real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll who's cute and cuddly, and you could see why a kid would want to. Ain't no kid want that Annabelle doll looking like that. So then the police station was this big, cavernous, Phantom of the Opera, Dark Man, the Shadow kind of police station. Then they had like underground, like I think they were in San Francisco because they had, you know how they have the city and then like the underground like mining town they built on top of. So they had the underground city that had like the Jack the Ripper smoke waving through, fog rolling through, and there's like covered wagons down there from the 1800s, like Western town that's underneath the city, which was an amazing set piece. Then they're running through like a Freddy Krueger red boiler room with like steam and pipes and like he was like, they were like, okay, which classic horror movie set do you want? And he was like, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
We had all of them except for the open ocean.
Yeah.
Like, we had the Freddy Krueger boiler room that was draped in red and steam. We had the Jack the Ripper 1800s, like, fog rolling in Western town. We had the Amityville horror house. And there was like some Rosemary's Baby elements in there, like that's, and then the girl, like she was like, it had some like weird interesting details in there, like the girl was very, very thin, and I thought that was like, I was like, oh, this, you know, I was almost making a body judgment. I was like, oh, this actress is very thin, but that was a choice because her brother, her twin was like parasiting off of her, literally. Okay, The only thing that super duper bothered me about this movie was the fact that her parasitic twin was a brother. Like, that bothered me more than anything, because identical twins are the same chromosomes. So it would have been a sister, not a brother. Like, it's the same egg.
Listen.
So I'm like, why did I felt like that was a lazy choice. Like, they threw that in there to throw us off.
Did you think this
like,
any part of this
like
movie?
It's a he.
Right.
Gabriel's a he. Like, and so if it was a she, you'd know immediately, oh, it's a Quado. Like, it was like Quado from
That's immediately what I thought of.
like that kind of and they use that kind of like situation, almost like it would have been interesting if it was more like the Dark Half, where it was this parasitic twin, but it was her also. They made it be more like it was the twin, and like the interesting way, she might be a dancer, I don't know, but like she would walk backwards,
yes,
and do all the stuff backwards, and that was weird and interesting. But I did feel like it wrapped up too quickly. Like, she was able to defend herself. Like, he's in her mind, and they're, having this battle of like psychic battle, and she had no build up to being able to understand their psychic connection and overpower him in their psychic connection. She just did suddenly. Like, she went from being a victim to being able to lock him away with no journey. And I didn't care for that. I didn't like that there wasn't a journey. But there were so many crazy things in this movie, the elements of this movie, that from a filmmaking standpoint, it's a really interesting watch. And if you go into it thinking of it as a comedy, it's also a really interesting watch.
Yes.
If you are looking for a scary horror movie, this ain't it. If you're looking to be, like blown away by storytelling and some massive twist, this isn't it. But if you're looking for like some really interesting set design, some really cool like set pieces, and just how to put in individual details that speak a lot to character, this was really cool. As like if I had a film class, I'd make my kids watch this. Like, I would, and I'd be like, tell me, what are some things that that James Wan, as a master director, has put in this movie that makes you think certain things and feel certain things, and are exciting in weird ways. But the movie overall is nonsense. Like, it's almost like it was a thought experiment, or it was just like he's just playing around, Like, he's a master architect who built a sandcastle. So at the end of the day, you can kick it over and it's nonsense, but there were some really interesting things happening.
Yeah, interesting for sure.
I would say I'd put this as it's good where it is on streaming. If I had seen this in the theater, I probably would have been kind of mad about it. If I had braved the wilds and I didn't go see the 10 Rings and I saw this nonsense, I saw this. Oh no, not in this economy. So it's good where it is, on streaming. That's where I would put it. So it's a little higher than just wait for it to show up on basic TV, basic ass TV.
because you're right. Like, when I first saw the brother in the bag, I did think of Quado from Total Recall, and I was like,
or Basket Case. But it looks cool, and like I was like, oh wow, how they do that animatronics. Like, it's just like, if you go into it just looking at it as, how do they do this? Like, there's a shot when she's running through the house and it's all done from overhead, and I'm just like, that's really cool.
That was cool.
I wouldn't run in that room, but she should have ran out the door. But that's a cool shot, true. And I appreciate
that's true.
That,
there is some interesting stuff technically. But I think I was sort of waiting for the horror or something interestingly scary to happen. And then when I realized, like, oh, wait, this is a comedy. And I was like, alrighty then. Wow.
Yeah. It's a crazy comedy. It's almost like Drag Me to Hell. Did you see that Sam Raimi movie? No. It's like that, where it's supposed to be a horror movie, but it winds up being funnier than not.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely some Scooby-Doo stuff going on in this movie, and they play it so straight that it's almost like it's a little too dry for its own good. And it had some weirdnesses in the beginning too, where uh, I thought it was set in the 70s in the beginning because of the house and their car and the way they were dressed and the way they were talking. And then suddenly everybody's got cell phones and real cars. And I was like, oh, so that almost threw me for a loop. Was I thought this was set in the 70s and I was ready to be on that journey. And then suddenly we're like, oh no, this is set in the present. There were a lot of like weird inconsistencies like that. It
was
out of time.
It was out of time. Yeah.
Out of place. But it was interesting as a film study. As a comedy, it was interesting. As a study in aesthetics, set design, elements, makeup, special effects.
It had its moments.
It had some crazy moments.
It had its moments.
I mean, even the acting wasn't terrible. Like, the acting was good. It was just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, the things that were happening was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how to reconcile that, where, everything that's happening is super dumb. But it's cool. They did a good job doing it.
They did.
Even though it's dumb.
And what's going to be a very good job is for those of you watching, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, or make sure to bookmark our website, tcadnetwork.com, where you can find all of our links to all of our podcast episodes, our 10-minute takes, as well as Good Morning Antioch and The Reading. So make sure you do that, then you're always in the loop, and next time we drop some content. Yeah, this was a weird one.
It was super weird.
This is
super
weird. Yeah. So till next time.
Not the Green Knight.
Not Green Knight weird, but weird. See ya.